My name is Ken Carnes. I'm the State Survey Coordinator. I work out of Albany with the Department of Agriculture and Markets. It's my responsibility with the Cooperative Agricultural Pest Survey Program to detect unwanted pests here in the state of New York and look at our ports and look at our the different cargo that's coming in through those ports. CBP is doing a real good job of checking at the ports and at the bridges, but many times all those cargo containers or all those trucks are not always opened up and investigated. So a lot of these exotic moths or exotic beetles can come in very easily on cargo, on dunnage, on crates, on packing material, solid wood packing material primarily, wherever there's bark attached to those kind of things. We're here to talk about Asian longhorn beetle and emerald ash borer. And the detection is really everyone's responsibility. Everyone needs to be trained eyes and observe it to decline of our trees, whether it be in your backyard, whether it be in the city park here, or whether it be in the trees that you are professionally climbing on a daily basis if you are part of that certified arborist group. So basically what we're asking for you folks to do here in Buffalo is to be aware of it, here in your park, here in the trees that you work with, and please call us if you have any suspect material. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and look at the signs and symptoms of emerald ash borer, of Asian longhorn beetle to begin with, and then we'll follow up with that with emerald ash borer. You might have noticed the tattoo I have on my left hand. That is the Asian longhorn beetle. Very, very shiny, very black, and lots of white dots on it, and the antennae are very long. I'm going to pass around an actual one that's been encased in lucite, confluence of China, and then one that we collected a couple weeks, several months ago in alcohol, so you can see up close and personal the actual beetle. We're also going to pass around the wood of what remains once Asian longhorn beetle does its damage in the course of 3 to 4 or 5 years in the tree. It's not a pretty sight, but at least the trees live a little longer than in length of time than compared to emerald ash borer. Again, as I mentioned earlier, our biggest issue is the global trade we have. You think about the Walmarts, the Kmarts, the Target stores. They're bringing so much product from China and from overseas ports that just inundated our ports on a daily basis. And overseas cargoes that are sealed there, not open at the ports, they're open at industrial parks across our great state and other states. So the problem we're going to have is that hitchhiking beetle, a hitchhiking moth that might be inside the cargo won't show up at the ports necessarily. It will show up when the cargo container is actually open for the first time. We have for 15 years put traps out, lingering traps baited with a variety of things, looking for this as part of the CAPS program. Asian longhorn beetle, commonly known as ALB, was confirmed in 1896. There was earlier signs in warehouses where this beetle was caught inside warehouse, but this was the first time we found it outdoors in a cemetery. And it wiped out every maple, every elm, every sycamore in that cemetery. I wish I had a before picture and an after picture, but there are 3 trees in the cemetery now in Brooklyn. Emerald ash borer was confirmed in 2002 in Michigan. And very rapidly, there's 14 states now that are covered with it. The Cooperative Agricultural Pest Survey Program, that's what I basically oversee here in New York. I work out of Albany and my objective is basically to adopt any survey technique that we can to detect an exotic beetle, exotic moth, a nematode, an unwanted disease, insect, or weed early on so we can try to eradicate it. And then the other thing is that we have statewide and regional programs that are constantly looking for ALB. What's funding this program this year that you're attending here is the Farm Bill of 2008. There's some substantial amount of money set aside for the northeastern states to do educational outreach. Primarily, that's our focus, outreach to you folks. And then secondly, survey and detection in hubs, industrial hubs. What trees are at risk for Asian longhorn beetle? Well, here's a list of their favorites. They love maples, all species of maples. They don't favor Eastern Agundu, I hate to say. They prefer the Norway maples and the sugar maples. And the ones that are, in our sugar bush are really at risk if Asian longhorn beetle gets out of Boston, gets out of Worcester, Massachusetts, gets out of Long Island and moves its way north to Vermont or to upstate New York. But they'll go after birches, elms, beeches, buckeyes, horse chestnut, and all the willows. I mentioned beeches. It's the birches, elms, and buckeyes, not birches. There's other alternate hosts that they have, and that is the ash, the poplar, London plane tree, but they'll go up to the sycamore also, and mimosa. So when we're doing surveys, we always hit every potential host first and foremost, but then we also, if we have a secondary host in the survey grid or the survey area, we also check that out, okay? Now, Asian long-haired beetle has been found on other plant material. You might have read in some of the articles you did in digging with ALB where Roses Sharon or some other lilac bushes were big enough to have Asian long-haired beetle lay their eggs. The catch is what we found is, yes, they'll lay their eggs there, but we'll never see an exit hole. There's just something about the shrubs that don't have enough vitality in the shrubs, or that kind of fruiting wood especially, to have the ALB complete its life cycle. So it might lay its egg, it might even germinate, or it might even hatch and grow into it, but it'll never come out an exit hole. So what the alternate hosts are those that actually ALB can complete its life cycle on and emerge.